Hey y'all, thanks for joining Traveling with Johnny. I'm Lori, and today I wanted to talk to you about a situation that happened on a cruise recently. So let's go.
Let's go, Johnny. Never thought it'd make it past the state line sign. Wichita raised, Denver was the finish line. Said, why leave home? This place is fine. Now he's missing flights in 3 new time zones. Traveling with Johnny.
All right, y'all, so story time. Johnny and I were recently on a cruise, and on the first day we decided to go to the casino. So we were playing at a couple slot machines for a while and decided that we were done on those machines and we would go to new machines. Johnny said he had to go to the restroom, so I went ahead and went on to the new machine. At the new machine, I was wondering, wait a minute, where's my money at? And I was thinking that because the previous cruise that we had been on had been with Princess, and on their cruises you get a medallion, and you use your medallion for everything. That opens your door. It is used for people to be able to locate you. You buy things with it using it. You use it in the casino. And in fact, the way you use it in the casino is anytime you go to cash out, your money goes back onto your casino bank on your medallion. So we were on Royal Caribbean though, and we had forgot that on Royal Caribbean you actually get cash out tickets. We had walked away from our slot machines without our money. We had left it in there because we forgot to cash out and get the cash out tickets. So while he was in the restroom, I figured this out, and so I went back to the original machines we were at, and there was 2 ladies sitting at them. One was an older lady and one was quite a bit younger. They looked like they could be mother and daughter, but I don't know. I mean, maybe even this older lady might be my same age. I don't know. I'm terrible at ages, but I know she was at least older. So I told the younger one who was sitting at the machine I had been at what had happened. And she said, well, I don't know. I've played some, I've won some. I don't know how much of it is yours. And I said, oh, well, I know that when I cashed out, I had exactly $40. And she said, okay, but I understand what you're saying, but I don't know how to get you your money. And I said, well, you have like 48 in there now, so you just cash out, get your cash out ticket, go to cashier and get your money. And so the older lady was asking her what was going on. So she told the older lady what was going on. And that older lady instantly was pissed off and was like, you're supposed to cash out. And I was like, yes, I realize that. I understand that now. But the last cruise we were on, that's not the way it was done. And so we just forgot. And she said, oh, well, this is really an inconvenience. And I'm like, I'm sorry about that. I apologize. We didn't, do this on purpose. It was a mistake. And the younger lady said to the older lady, she said, oh, that's why we had that extra credit in there. So the younger lady gets up and, she cashed out, got the cash out ticket and left to go to the cashier to get the money. And the older lady looked at me and gave me the evilest, dirtiest look and was like, you're lucky that we're honest. And I said, well, yeah, and you knew that there was extra money in there. And she said, oh, well, you're just ruining my vacation. And I said, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. It was an accident. And she's like, this is just ridiculous. And so then Johnny came back and I explained to Johnny what was going on. I asked him how much money he had in the machine when he left the machine. And he said he didn't know. He thought it was about $80, but he wasn't sure. And so I just stood there and the older lady left. after a few minutes, her, the younger lady, and a casino worker all came back. And as they came back, I heard the older lady saying to the casino worker, "And now she wants her money." And I'm not even exaggerating. That's exactly how it was. And so the casino worker and them come over, and, by now everybody's looking at us because the older lady was just yelling, and she's like, "I can't believe this. This is just the start of the cruise, and you're already ruining my vacation. I hope you don't do this to anybody else, and you should always remember to cash out so you don't ruin anybody else's vacation." And the casino worker says to me, "Hey, you're supposed to cash out on it every time." And I was like, "Yeah, I know, but for this situation where we're at now, that doesn't, help. We understand that. It's just on our last cruise, that's not how you did it." And he said, "Yeah, I get it, but different cruise lines." And I said, "Yeah, different cruise lines. I get it now, and we won't, do this again. It's just we just forgot." And he said, "Okay, well, how much money did you have in yours?" And I said, "Well, mine was $40, and the younger lady gave me my $40, and then he asked how much in the other one." And I said, "I don't know. My husband wasn't for sure. He thought it was like $80, but he's not sure." And he said, "Okay, well, let me write the machine number down, and we can figure this out." And in the meantime, this older lady is over there talking to the younger lady, and she's just saying, "Oh, when you lose money, you lose money. When you drop it on the ground, you don't go running after the person who picked it up, asking them to give it back." She said, "If you drop $600 on the ground, you wouldn't go ask whoever picked it up to give it back." And I didn't say anything because I really, regardless of the situation, I really wanted to be respectful and calm throughout the situation, especially since this lady was so irate. There was another player sitting at another slot machine, and she looked at me and she's like, "I'm so sorry," because it was just crazy the way she was getting so irate. And then the old lady says, "Well, how much money do you want? How much money is it going to take for me to get rid of you?" And I was like, I just want what's owed. I don't want any more. I don't want any, just whatever we're supposed to have is what I want." And he was like, the casino worker was like, yeah, I'll figure it out. And this old lady got right in my face. No, she was like this close to me, and she's yelling at me. She's pulling out of her purse. She's pulling money out of her purse, throwing 20s everywhere. She threw a 20 in my face. It was so disrespectful. I really wish on one hand that I would have gotten it on film, like I would have gotten video of it, at least a picture of her, which I could have gotten a picture of her, especially later, because I saw her throughout the cruise. And every time she saw me, she just gave me the evilest look. But I felt like I didn't want to disrespect her in that way. I wanted to respect her privacy. She had a bad moment, I guess. At least that's what I thought at the time, She just kept screaming at me, "You've ruined my whole vacation. You've ruined my whole vacation." And I was just like, what is going on here? Johnnie, throughout the whole thing, Johnnie just stayed out of it because he really, really wanted to get in that lady's face because he found it so disrespectful when she started throwing money at me. But he also knows that, being who he is, that it could have gotten out of control and he would have been the one that would have been punished or, reprimanded. So in the end, the casino guy did say that there was $87 in there. And so the lady started throwing money at me again to give me the $87. And she's like, "Well, I don't have change. I'm going to have to go get change." I saw she had a 5 there. So I was like, "You can just give me 85. We'll call it good. It's fine, whatever." And she was like, okay, well, I hope you don't ruin anybody else's vacation. And you know, man, this whole situation actually had me questioning myself. Like, was I in the wrong? Should I just have let the money go? Was it, I don't know. I mean, like, honestly, I didn't go get this casino guy. I wasn't bringing any of the authorities or anything like that. I wasn't bringing anybody into it. I just went to these two women and explained to them what happened. I didn't demand money back. I didn't, because quite honestly, I was thinking, well, they could just get up and say tough, and we would be out the money. So I feel like I didn't escalate it, but I don't know. Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe I shouldn't have. When I saw the lady sitting there, I just should have let it go. I don't know. I've been questioning myself a lot about it. I thought I tried to handle it in the most respectful way I could, but I don't know. So you guys tell me, what would you have done? Have you ran into a situation like this before? Was I wrong? How do you handle somebody who is irate in your face? Tell me down below in the comments if this has happened to you or anything like it, how you handled it, what you think I should have done. And yeah, please like, subscribe, and comment below. All right, y'all.
Laugh, we rode, we caught that view. Made a few memories, maybe one or two. From the road to the ship to the sky so blue. Yeah. Now the day winds down, but we're not through. Yeah. Ooh. Traveling with Johnny, come along again. Bring your people, bring your family, bring your friends. Real